Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of AudioKitchen, a cook-along podcast where we'll be making a quick and easy meal in real time. For this show I am joined by a good friend of mine and fellow student Seb Kobersy.
Hey there Ryan, glad to be here.
Nice to have you. And in the next half hour we're going to be making a nice dish of chicken teriyaki for two. How does that sound?
Honestly, that sounds lovely. I mean, I've had such a long day at work, so I'm ready to eat anything.
It's going to be a nice quick one. We're going to try and get this done in, like I say, half an hour.
Okay.
So all the ingredients that you'll be needing are in the description, but in case you haven't read that or you missed it, here they are again. We're going to be needing 1 clove of garlic, although I'm going to be using frozen, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. You can get the cheap stuff, that's fine. 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 4 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. Make sure that's dark. You can buy light or lightly salted, but I'm using dark. 2 chicken breasts, 300 grams of egg noodles. I've got just a regular pot. You can get that at any good supermarket.
That's quite good.
And of course, your normal salt and pepper just to season. So I think when we're ready, Seb, we should get started.
Sounds great, Ryan. Let's do it.
So the first thing that we need to do is we're going to get our chicken breast and a chopping board, which I have just here. And if I just clear this, what we're going to be doing is cutting up the chicken a little bit and creating the teriyaki sauce, okay? So if you don't mind just giving that chopping board a quick dry for me.
I'll give that a try.
I'm going to get a bowl out of the cupboard here. Yeah, that just a regular cloth is fine to dry that. So, like I say, the first things we're going to need are those ingredients to make the teriyaki sauce. So, what I'm first going to do is just put a small frying pan, in this case I have a wok, just on a low heat, with a tiny bit of the sesame oil in the pan, just a tiny little splash, probably say that's about 10 or so millilitres, not much at all, and get your garlic. Like I say, I'm using frozen, so I'm just going to pour this straight in when I can actually find the stuff. And basically you're going to fry off the garlic to a nice brown thing. Here you go. What I do like about frozen garlic is that you don't have to cut it yourself. You can just open up the packet like I'm doing now. You can probably hear that.
Saves valuable time.
It saves a lot of valuable time. So luckily I've got just enough in there. I'm just going to pour that in. You might hear a nice sizzle on the mic. So you don't really need much of this because garlic is quite a flavoursome thing. And like I say, just give that a nice little brown in your frying pan, or like I say, in this case, I'm using a wok. In the meantime, Seb, do you mind getting out a tablespoon for me?
Tablespoon, yeah, sure.
You know what a tablespoon looks like?
Oh, don't you know it?
You sound like you've done this before. So I'm just going to switch this light on so we can see a little bit better. Thank you very much. Cheers for that. So in the meantime, if you just keep an eye on that and let me know when that's a little bit more brown.
A little bit more brown, sure.
A little bit more brown. So this should only take a couple of minutes, tops. Like I say, just put it on a medium heat with a little bit of oil and it shouldn't take too long. And whilst you're doing that, I'm going to come on the other side of you and start making the base of the sauce. So we're going to go back to our old friend, the sesame oil. With 1 tablespoon of that, I'm just putting this in a regular sized bowl.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to overdo that though.
No. How do you know about that then, Seb? Have you made this before?
Oh, I definitely enjoy my Asian dishes, but...
So you've dabbled in the art?
Oh, I have.
Oh, I'll try not to disappoint you with the overall dish then. Like I say, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil in the bowl. The maple syrup, which is going to give a nice sticky coating to the thing. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of that, so you can use the same spoon, that's fine. Again, these going in the bowl with the sesame oil, so I'll just splash those in. How's the garlic coming along?
Would you say that's quite brown, Ryan?
I'd say that's brown enough.
Okay.
So
take it off heat?
Yeah, take it off the heat, and if you want, you can add that straight into my bowl of mixed sauces. So there you go. Okay, you get a nice little dribble of the sesame oil as well.
Then.
Yeah, so if you just put the pan to one side as well. The last thing we're going to add to this is the dark soy sauce. Now this is going to be the most flavoursome part of the teriyaki sauce. So like I say, this is dark soy, and we're going to add 4 tablespoons of this. It does come out quite slowly, so you're going to have to bear with me here, Seb.
Does it have to be dark, Ryan?
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but it's preferred. So
It's good to know, yeah.
use it at your own discretion. I think they're all roughly around the same price, so I don't know why you wouldn't pick it. But if you've only got light or lightly salted at home and you feel like using that, that's perfectly fine. You get a slightly lighter flavour overall.
Oh, you can really see the richness in there now in the sauce, really, can't you?
Yeah, it's looking lovely, isn't it? So once you've added those 4 tablespoons, like I just have, I'm going to give that a quick mix. If you do that, Seb, for me, just give that a nice little mix around. I'm going to put the pan back on a very low heat, pretty much as low as it'll go. And once you've mixed it around, what I want you to do is just add that in to there.
And what's the aim with the low heat?
Basically, we don't want the pan to get burnt. So you know, with these sticky liquids, like maple syrup, and you might know with honey as well, when you cook them on a very high heat, they tend to burn quite fast. So what we want to do is...
should probably wet
there's a
as well.
spatula just there. What we want to do is basically just make a nice sticky sauce that we're going to coat the chicken with. So speaking of the chicken, I'm going to open up the packet now, if I can get a knife. And all we want to do is just get this out of the packet onto a chopping board where it's nice and clean, because we don't want to cross-contaminate. That's the last thing we want. There you go, nice loud pop from the... You've actually bought me some high-quality chicken breast here.
Oh, only the best for you, man.
Thank you, I'm very thankful of that. So like I say, I'm just going to pop these on a chopping board, and be sure to wash your hands as well when you're handling raw meats, especially chicken, because we don't want to be getting that salmonella now, do we? So just going to give my hands a quick wash, Seb, and then I'll be right back with you. Like I mentioned at the start of the podcast, this is all in real time, so if you're cooking along, feel free to do things at the same time we're doing them, and you should come out with roughly the same dish. So how's that sauce looking? Is it getting sticky yet, Seb?
Still a bit on the runny side there, so how much longer are we expected, really?
I'd give it probably another couple of minutes before we can start to add the chicken. We just want to be able to get it to coat, basically. So enough so that it'll stick to the chicken without burning in the pan. Now you can probably hear me as well at the same time, just giving everything a wash. I always find that this is a very important part of cooking, is doing the washing at the same time, because you don't want things to pile up, because that's when you get a bit over encumbered, I think, when you've got thousands of dishes lying around and nothing to do with them. So you want to create a nice clean workspace whilst you're doing that. It's a lot easier with 2 people as well. So I'm looking at the sauce now, Seb, and I'm thinking that's about right to start adding the chicken.
Okay, let's do it.
So with my nice clean hands, what I'm going to do is basically just keeping the pan on a low heat, apply one of the chicken breasts to begin with, and then the other one straight afterwards. So if you want to give those a nice little stir around in the pan so that they're beginning to be coated all over, don't worry, they're a bit slippery at first. They're raw chicken, what can you expect? Again, wash your hands after handling raw meat, always good. And this, Seb, is where you can begin to turn the heat up a little.
Okay, how do I do that then?
So if you just turn that knob around a little bit, other way, sorry. That's all right.
Okay.
That's why I'm here. I'm also going to get a pair of tongs out just for easy handling, so we won't have to keep using that spatula. And what do you do with the spatula, Seb?
You've got to wash it out.
You've got to give it a wash. You've learned very fast. So, like I say, these dishes are nice, quick, easy ones that you can make on a budget. And of course, a lot of these ingredients you can cook and use again. So, like, I've bought a whole bottle of sesame oil, soy sauce, multi-purpose. Today is actually pancake day, so I know that we're going to be using the maple syrup again at some point, because that's a nice sweet thing. Perhaps have that on some pancakes tonight.
Something sweet.
In the meantime, while that chicken is simmering away, we're going to draw our attention to the egg noodles, okay? Like I say, I've just brought a value pack. You can get these in most supermarkets, just in the refrigerator aisle. Free-range egg noodles, because apparently free range is better for you, or something along those lines. But
well, we always encourage healthy eating, don't we?
yeah, so good to buy those free range ones. I'm just going to get a pan out if I can. It's always an option as well with these ones. I know the ones that I'm buying, you can, if you like, put them in the microwave. We're going to avoid doing that just so we can be thorough, but that is always an option if you're a bit rushed for time. So, have you ever cooked egg noodles, Seb?
I have, yeah. I've done it quite a few times actually. I like my
Do you want me to just hand you the pan then?
Oh, that's fine then.
Sure, I wasn't expecting you to take that. So, Seb, could you just quickly talk me through how you make some egg noodles?
Well, generally is you got to get the pan nice and hot.
Yeah.
And then after that you pretty much just get a bit of splash of oil, that's what I do really, and then just pop them right in.
Sure.
Is that correct?
Well, if you'd like to take a read on the back, specifically this brand, like I say, they are microwavable if you'd like. Struggling with that there.
Yes, the labels.
That's okay. Well, while you're doing that, I'm just going to draw my attention back to the chicken, because you might be able to hear that if I just lean in. You can really hear the sauce starting to get up and about inside the pan.
Are we doing any vegetables with this as well? Or?
This is just going to be noodles and chicken.
Noodles and chicken.
Of course, you can do this with stir-fry veg, if you like, if that's your thing. We aren't today, but that's completely an option. My philosophy is to always experiment with cooking. So if you think, this would go well with perhaps a bit of broccoli, maybe, stir-fry broccoli, maybe some carrot. Who knows, maybe you're a big fan of courgette. Then you can always have a go with that yourself. Experiment, because that's what cooking is all about.
Yeah, definitely. Cooking is more of a... there's always a guideline, but then everyone likes to free range it around and just sort of go off script.
Yeah, like
really try something new.
One of my favourite things to do is have a look at an existing recipe and, change a few things. Because obviously when you look at a recipe, not everything's going to be to everyone's taste. So once you take a look, if you think, you know what, I don't like the ham or I don't like chicken, perhaps you're vegan. You could always perhaps try some tofu or another meat substitute. I'm not too well read on vegan foods, but there's always another option. So if you want to try that, you ready to start cooking the egg noodles, Seb?
Yeah, pan seems to be getting quite hot, so might as well just dump them in.
Sure. Lovely. What I'm going to do now is just turn the heat down a bit on the chicken. So again, that maple syrup doesn't burn, and we get a nice coating. What is quite important with chicken as well is that you cook it the whole way through.
Oh, definitely. You don't want a medium rare chicken there, right?
No. It's okay for beef, not so much for chicken. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get myself a sharp knife, and in fact, I might sharpen it a tiny bit myself as well, actually. Always nice to have a knife sharpener in the kitchen, just in case. You might be able to hear that. What I'm going to do, this is a kind of double purpose thing, is just cut into the chicken. One, it works for presentation. And two, it just allows you to see the middle of the chicken a bit better. And if it's pink, you can always just give it a little brown. So if you just cut into each piece, I think I'm going to cut each chicken breast into probably about 4 or 5 bits. Like I've cut into that, and already you can see the outside is nice and cooked.
It's definitely sealed in quite well.
Yeah, the inside is still very much pink. So that's the one thing you want to avoid. So I would recommend just taking a look inside your chicken breasts, because you don't want to be poisoning anyone. That's the last thing we encourage here on AudioKitchen. So what do you think of the dish so far, Seb?
Well, it seems to be quite, you captured the essence of Asian food here, Ryan. You got the maple syrup, which I never thought you could actually add there. But obviously you got the typical ingredients: soy sauce, garlic. They just really bring out the flavours in chicken.
I have had a look online as well, just before, to compare and contrast. There are a few other things that they say you can add. I know some recipes say you can always add some chilli. It's quite nice.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Yeah.
Perhaps some coriander leaf as well. I haven't gone for that because I've gone for the...
Not a fan of coriander there.
Not a fan of coriander. And there's always some lime zest perhaps, and I know you're a big fan of lime.
Lime, yeah, definitely.
But again, this is not something that I've gone for in this recipe. But if you're curious, always take a look online. Perhaps you have a cooking book as well. Just take a look through some of those, get some inspiration. But,
so this is more about speed than actually finesse.
What we're doing here, like I say, is just creating an easy meal. If you're not too sure about what you're cooking, if you're not too confident in yourself, you could always give this a shot with minimal ingredients and still perhaps make a nice tasting, nice looking dish in under half an hour.
Okay, lovely.
So now I've just cut the chicken up. Again, this gives you a nice chance to cook some of the insides as well as get them marinated as well. Because now, I don't know if you ever did math, but they got a bigger surface area to work with. So, like you can already see, this piece of chicken here.
Oh, that is actually quite beautifully seasoned though.
Yeah. Like quite a few of these bits of chicken, especially the end pieces, because they're a lot smaller. They may look like they're burning. Don't be alarmed, unless they are actually on fire, in which case do be alarmed. But if they're just going a bit brown on the edges, that's quite nice, because that's where the maple syrup and the soy and the sesame oil has just stuck to the side of the chicken and is beginning to cook. So there we go. How are the egg noodles looking, Seb?
Could use a bit of a stir actually, Ryan. You got a spoon anyway?
I do have a spoon. Would you like wooden or metal?
Wooden.
Wooden.
They don't scratch.
I'll give you a nice big one so you can reach the bottom of the pan there. What I do like about cooking as well, because people do say there's a very visual aspect. What we're doing here is obviously audio, but I think people underestimate how much sound does play a part in the kitchen. Because you always get the nice sights and smells, but just have a listen to that. I'm just going to lean in again so you can hear that. That nice sizzle. It's a lovely noise. I'm a big fan of it personally.
Yeah, no, I think also audio is actually a lot better for when you're cooking because you don't actually have to focus on anything but the food.
Yeah.
You could just have your headphones in even if you wanted to unplug and just listen to this show while
Absolutely.
you're cooking.
That's kind of the point. That's why I thought of this idea in the first place. You hit the nail on the head there, Seb.
Oh, didn't even know that.
Oh, thank you. So, we've been cooking so far for about, I'd say probably a good quarter of an hour. And we're actually ahead of time, I'd say. So, with both of us working at it, obviously you can do it a bit quicker. But if you're working alone, then that's good too. Like I say, this is a dish for two, so we've used twice the amount of portions. If you want to make it for one, obviously you just use half as much. So that would only be 2 tablespoons of soy, half a tablespoon of sesame oil, and half a tablespoon of maple for the sauce, and of course only 1 chicken breast if you're eating alone. Unless you're hungry, in which case you could eat as much as you like.
Like I am right now, Ryan.
Like you're planning on doing when you get home. So the egg noodles, they're looking pretty near to being finished.
Would you say so?
Well, if you just leave those with me, if you go into that cupboard down by your knees there, Seb, and get out 2 plates, because we're getting near that time now.
2 plates.
2 plates. If not, if you head to the washing up board back there, or perhaps the dishwasher, you can take a nice little look there for a couple of nice clean plates. Of course, you want to eat off clean plates. It's always helpful.
Would you say these are clean?
I'd say those are absolutely fine.
Okay.
Whilst you're doing that, I'm just going to add the final touches, just to season, a nice bit of salt and pepper. You can never go wrong with salt and pepper, I don't think.
No.
What's nice, and I was discussing this with someone, a good friend the other day, is that salt and pepper, the reason why they're the most favoured condiments out of all of them, like you don't often see people put in, say, 5 spice or any of those other market brand ones on, because salt and pepper, what they do is they actually bring out other flavours in food. I don't know if you knew that.
No, that's definitely news to me. I'm sure it's also news to others.
Yeah. So there you go. Salt and pepper, everybody. So we're pretty much done here, Seb. So if you'd like to just take the noodles off the heat, I'm going to take the chicken off the heat as well. If I could just get to that, I'll put a nice batch of noodles on each plate for us as well. Like I say, these are egg noodles. You can use whatever you like, but egg noodles I think work the best.
Probably the most appropriate.
Probably the most appropriate, yeah, absolutely. Still giving a nice sizzle whilst we're serving them up as well. Now you can serve them however you want. I'm going to go for a nice, more artistic look just because I think it makes me look more like a professional chef. But of course you can serve it however you like. Got a few stuck to the bottom of the pan, but that can be expected. So I'm just going to get the last few of those off. I'll put them on your plate. I know you're a hungry boy, so. So there we go, that's the noodles on the plate. And then the main part of the dish, the chicken, like you can see...
it's quite beautifully browned though.
It's brown. It's got a nice orange glaze to it as well, I think. So like I say, we're going to have about 5 each. Yeah. So that is chicken teriyaki with egg noodles done in under half an hour. So you know what's next, Seb?
What's next, Ryan?
The taste test.
Oh,
find out
my favourite part.
if they're actually any good. So if you'd like to pick a dish, if you'd like any more teriyaki, I can just put that on for you. There you go, nice little drizzle on top. Knife and fork recommended, although if you're feeling properly oriental, you could always go for a pair of chopsticks. I don't have any of those on me.
Oh, that's a shame.
But, like I say, if you're feeling authentic, I think that's the way to go. So if we head into the lounge area, Seb.
It does smell good.
Then we can have our first taste. Sure. Right. This is the most important part for me. I'll let you have the first taste, just because you're the guest.
Okay, let's dig in.
No? You okay there? Just making sure it's all cooked through.
Oh, definitely.
How is it?
Well, so far what's hitting the palate is actually really quite traditional. It tastes good. It's you can actually taste the garlic just at the back there.
Yeah.
It's actually really lovely.
You mentioned the maple sauce before. Is there any hint of that, or is it just for the overall texture?
I think I can taste more of the texture than the actual flavour. I don't think the sweetness has come through because of the other ingredients, but definitely it's quite good.
I mean, I've just taken my first bite. I think it's lovely, if I do say so myself. Obviously, I organised to cook the thing, but if you can't appreciate your own food, then what's the point?
The noodles are also nice and soft.
So I've invited you over today, Seb, but I don't want to shy away from anything that you're doing. So is there anything that you're doing in the meantime that you'd like to have a little chat about?
Well, I don't know. I suppose my photography really is just sort of taking over my life at the moment. Well, apart from my work, which I go to every day at 9 to 5. So, but yeah, we recently just went to London and managed to get some really beautiful street shots. Actually, not as good as my first set, but definitely the second time around, I did get some more different angles, a bit more interesting areas. Yeah, it was just quite a good trip, really.
Have you ever considered taking photography of food by any chance?
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's a lot more to it than actually people think. I mean, it's almost similar to product photography, where conditions need to be controlled. With food as well, it goes cold really quickly. So if you really want to capture food, it has to be done when it's hot. Just
out the pan, yeah?
Yeah, because you really want to just get that steam also coming off really nicely.
Yeah.
Lighting is also incredibly important. You want more of a low lit scene so you can let the smoke really come through. If not, though, I've seen tricks where people actually get smoke and put them in a bottle, a squeezy bottle, and sort of just spray it out just before.
Yeah.
Within the case, most food is actually food photography. It's actually fake.
Okay.
It tends to be more of like glues, and if you've ever seen cereal boxes, that tends to be more glue than it is actually milk.
Wow.
Just get really the whiteness out more than anything, and also to keep its level and flatness in the scene.
There you go.
So yeah, there's quite a few things that really there.
You learn something every day.
I don't know much about it more than that, but there is quite an art to it.
Well, there you go. Is there anywhere that people can find some of the stuff that you've been taking photos of?
Yeah, my Instagram is at Seb Kobersy, SEBKOBERSY, and also I've just also been featured on a site actually, which was just made by a student in Durham, which is strangely enough.
Wow.
Yeah, that was quite strange.
Congrats.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, but yeah, that's where you'd find me. That's where most of my recent stuff is at the moment, and yeah, that's my plug.
That's okay. Anytime. So I can see you're about halfway through the dish. Have you got any extra thoughts on the whole process?
Well, honestly, as I was eating it, Ryan, I couldn't think, but it was quite nice. I don't have any more to say about it. The noodles is fine. It adds packing. The chicken's there for flavour. It's overall really well constructed.
Thank you. So I think that's just about all we've got time for Audio Kitchen on this first week. I'd like to thank you again, Seb, for coming along.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Ryan. Thank you.
Complimenting my food. It always helps my ego. And I hope you tune in again next week. We'll have a different dish in under half an hour for you. So thank you very much.